Let's do the Jimmy C shuffle, you know, that one.
That's it. Yeah.
We gotta find that groove there, man. Alright, told me this morning I find myself a job. Chicago's okay, time to darn hard. She said, go ahead and that's one thing I don't enjoy. She said everything is okay, but the woman is you're nothing but a big town playboy. Run the streets all day, stay home late at night, watching Netflix all week. No, it ain't right, but go ahead and that's one thing I don't enjoy. She said everything is okay, nothing but a big town playboy. Say I'm playing all the time. You said, honey, you got the nerve to say I don't have a dime, but you go ahead and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna hit that highway 49. You know where I'm gonna hit that gin store and I'm gonna get a bottle of wine. 'Cause you know we got the blues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ready Angel.
It's the full Soper.
Mr. Martin Matthews.
Yeah, Jimmy, sadly gone, but somebody I think we're all going to miss, really. I met Jimmy 20 years ago, actually probably a bit before then, because we'd been at jams and we'd been playing together in a sort of jamming situation, couple of numbers, no more than that. Jimmy got a gig in Camden Town, and he asked me if I knew a drummer. I said, yes, my friend Stevie. So we turned up into this pub, which is now gone, in Camden Town, and did our very first gig, and that was pretty much 20 years ago. Within a week or so, we'd found a saxophonist, Antonio, who was the original saxophone player, and that was the nucleus of the band. Jimmy very shortly afterwards decided that we were going to be called the Blues Dragons, and we all thought it was a bit naff, but at the end of the day, Jimmy was the boss, and if Jimmy said we're the Blues Dragons, then yeah, that's what we're going to be. He originally said, we'll probably do 1 or 2 gigs a month. Thought that's all right. Wife won't complain too much at that. First year, full year, I think we did 100 gigs, which when you think about it is a sort of huge amount. So it became pretty clear that as far as the band was concerned, whilst Jimmy was a full-time musician, so he could do it full-time, and Antonio was pretty much full-time musician, so he was okay. The drummer Stevie and me, we had daytime jobs, so there was no way that we could do that. But Jimmy had in his mind an idea, and the idea was that instead of having a fixed band with the same people each and every time, what he'd do would be to have different drummers and different bass players in particular that would come into the band. Later on, different saxophone players as well, because Antonio found that he couldn't do every gig subsequently. And what it meant was that if you went to see Jimmy C and the Blues Dragons, there's a good chance you'd see a different lineup almost every time you saw them. But what that meant was that the music was always fresh, because there were always differences in the way that the different bands played the music that Jimmy led. Jimmy was very much the leader as far as the band was concerned. From time to time he'd write his own songs. I mean, very often people would come up to us at the end of a gig and they say, why don't you play some original material? And we'd say, well, actually 30 to 40% of what we played tonight was original material. It's just that Jimmy had that skill of writing songs that really sort of fitted into the genre, if you like, and so people didn't realise they were actually listening to original songs. The band developed over the years, or the bands, if you like, developed over the years. Sort of John Mayerly, I suppose. An enormous number of people have come through the ranks as Blues Dragons from time to time. But Jimmy himself established regular places that we'd play. So he did regular tours, obviously in Canada, which is where he originally came from. In Russia, did a very large number of gigs in Russia, even as far as Siberia, which was pretty damn cold, he told. I mean, he didn't take us with him for those gigs. He would pick up local musicians who would become Blues Dragons in that way. About 10 years ago, we were approached by a German guy who said, would you come over and play at our town beer festival? Well, we went. They must have liked us because they asked us back, and then asked us back, and then asked us back again, and we ended up really almost being citizens of Aalen, which is this lovely little town in Schwabia down in southern Germany, and by golly, the beer was good. I really do miss that German beer. But Jimmy then became ill. About 2 years ago, he was diagnosed with this very nasty form of cancer, bile duct cancer, and there's only one charity that deals with it, a charity called AMMF, and the gigs that we're doing now are all dedicated to AMMF and hoping to raise funds for them, of course. When the lockdown came, we couldn't play as much as we did before. Jimmy had been playing, he looked fine after the operation, he really looked as though he got his energy back. As soon as it became possible in the first lockdown to do open-air concerts, we started doing open-air concerts here at St Mary's Tower. And we played concerts in July, we did another one in August, then in October, last one in December. December one was so cold because, well, it was December. I was playing in fingerless gloves because it was the only way that I could play bass at that particular time. We then decided that we'd have Aga's suggestion, a tribute concert to Jimmy, which we had here last month, and now we're hoping that we'll be able to get a regular band together of the Blues Dragons, the people who are in the Blues Dragons from time to time, to sort of keep it going, to keep Jimmy's songs going in particular, because they really are, so I believe anyway, worth getting on with and worth exploiting, if you like, from that. Well, exploiting is probably not the right word to use there. But one song in particular was the very last one that he wrote. He never got the opportunity to record it, and it's a song called Old Jacob Walker. And Jimmy was in this particular park, 'cause he's a local guy, and he was walking his dog, and he came across the gravestone of this chap who had been born as a slave, Jacob Walker, in Virginia in 1801. At some time he'd come with the family from Virginia to the United Kingdom, where they lived. Jimmy had the idea that maybe there was a love interest here, so he created a character called Miss Lily, who's not recorded on the gravestone, it has to be said, but nevertheless the idea was that this slave, as he was, Jacob Walker, had fallen in love with this girl, Miss Lily, and they came to the United Kingdom, and the gravestone is here. They're down in Highgate in 1841, and you can see we've got Harriet Long, who was the widow of a chap called Joseph Selden. She died in June 1841, but then as we move down we can see, and he also died in 1841, August 1841, so a couple of months later, but this is the stone in memory of Jacob Walker, and you can see, native of Virginia, in America he was the faithful slave, and in England the faithful servant of Harriet and George. So Jimmy's song, we're hoping that we'll be able to record properly. We're working up into a song. It was only a very rough demo originally, and we're hoping we'll actually be able to put, by the magic of technology, Jimmy's own voice onto it, which would be really nice. But that's a project, I think, for the next couple of months. But this was a place that Jimmy loved. He always loved playing here. We love playing here as well. The sound's great. The people are great. It really is a nice place. And there we go. The faithful slave and the faithful servant.
You never told me your
story.
name.
Sorry?
You never told me your name.
But I'm Paul. I'm Paul Soper. Yeah, that's me. I'm just a bass player. That's all I do. Stand at the back, make noises on a random basis.
Just a bass player, man.
Yeah, no, I don't sing. Moan occasionally, and make announcements. I seem to have a facility for making announcements.
That's very good. Have you got a Facebook page or?
Yeah, I got a Facebook page. Jimmy's got a Facebook page as well, and the band has got a Facebook page too.
Could you give them out for us, in such a way people can sort of look out for your gigs and stuff?
I mean, the main website is www.bluesdragons, that's all one word, BLUESDRAGONS.com. Yeah, that's the main website, and from there you can find the Facebook pages and the other links. You can track down Jimmy's lyrics to his original songs. You can listen to Jimmy's songs as well, because we put them up there for free. And let's say the idea is just to keep Jimmy's memory going. Jimmy, who had that fantastic smile and made everybody smile.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.